Good evening, good folks, and welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission General Session meeting for this Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Before we get on with our business, I do want to share that we do have a couple of comment periods, one of which is towards the beginning of the meeting, and that's on any agenda items. Do encourage you to complete the comment forms at the back of the room. Provide your name and home address. Note I will not be sharing your home address publicly, nor will I be asking you to announce your home address. That is for our records. I will be acknowledging what neighborhood you're coming from if you're a city resident or if you're joining us from another municipality. And then we do have a public comment period at the end of the meeting, and that's on anything you wish to share with the City Commission. Note during public comment periods, it's a time for you to give your input and perspective with us. It is not necessarily time for dialogue or back and forth or Q&A. We can arrange that if necessary at a different time and juncture. For public comment, we do also welcome phone-in comments, and so we'll have a phone number scrolling at the bottom of the screen when we get to phone-in comment time. I'll share that number right now, but do not call right this second. That number is 231-724-6721. Just so you have that at the ready, that's 231-724-6721. Everyone, whether you're giving comment in person or by phone, gets up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks. Now, we're going to have prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And we're being led in prayer by Pastor Apollo McCullough from Port City Church. If you wish to join us for either the prayer or Pledge of Allegiance, I ask that you stand if you're still capable of doing so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I appreciate the opportunity to come. If you guys want to join me in prayer, I really appreciate it. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with gratitude for this opportunity to gather and serve our community. We thank you for the leaders in this room, the mayor, the council members, and all those who work diligently behind the scenes to make this city a place of opportunity, safety, and growth. Lord, their dedication and service do not go unnoticed, and we are grateful for their commitment. As we begin this meeting, we are reminded of the wisdom found in your word, as Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." Tonight, we commit this meeting to you, asking for your guidance and your blessing upon every discussion and every decision. Grant these leaders wisdom to lead with integrity, compassion, fairness, and may these conversations be marked with mutual respect, their decisions by justice, and their actions by a genuine desire to serve our community well. Lord, we ask that you bless this city, its residents, and all those who work tirelessly to ensure its well-being. May we work together in unity, setting aside any differences that we have for the greater good. God, we ask that you bless this place. This is in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
May we have roll call, please?
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Here.
Commissioner Keener, absent, Commissioner German, absent, Commissioner Gorman,
Here.
Commissioner Cochin,
Here.
Vice Mayor St. Clair.
Here.
All right, thank you. And get on with public comment on agenda items. I've got a few forms with regard to agenda items and a couple of forms for end of the meeting general public comment. First up, we have, don't have an address, I don't know where it's coming from, but Carol Chu. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you.
You have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
Thank you. I just have a few comments. We've noticed that, of course, all of you have probably sick and tired of hearing about the beach fees, but I'm here to represent the patio ladies, and we're out at the beach all the time. We're here with a handful of us, but we're down right by the channel, and we sit there, and we're sort of the greeting committee. And one of the things that we would like to share with you is the fees that are down there, because we're down there 2 or 3 times a week. And we're noticing the traffic that goes by, constantly all the time. And a lot of seniors go through there, and they don't stop. And the reason they don't stop is because they can't afford to stop. And so it just came to my attention that we're all seniors and we're getting to the point where we can't afford it because the prices went up. And then the more I thought about it, it sort of was like, we're all seniors. And then it got to, my family is all vets, the whole family. And it's like, why are the vets having to pay when they've already served their country? They have boots on the ground in Vietnam. My dad was in World War II at the very end. He was there when they signed the end of World War II. He was in Korea. He was there for that. His boots were on the ground. My sister, her husband served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. His boots were on the ground. How many people right here? Look, their boots were on the ground, I'm sure. Vietnam. How many of you? Vietnam. Vets. How many widows? How many seniors? Look, how many seniors? Me, right there, seniors. Vets. Think about it. They've already paid for it. Now you're going to tell them they have to pay again to put their feet on the sand down at Pure Marquette. Really? Really? We, right here, 1, 2, 3, plus all of the patio girls, all went through Muskegon Public Schools. I graduated. I was a majorette. I was in marching band, Muskegon Public School. Yay, 72. Did I come on time?
Thank you, Miss Chu.
Anyway, Muskegon.
Appreciate you joining us this evening.
And seniors, don't forget us.
Thank you. And go Big Reds. All right. Next up, we have Kim Fisher joining us from the city of Norton Shores. Welcome. You have 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
Okay, listen, regarding the water, I heard your comments on the news and whatnot, and the things that you're doing with the money that you're coming in with. But my question is, what were you doing before then? When you wasn't charging, and you were still doing the cleaning up sands and moving and plowing and doing what you do to close the beach out, to open the beach. You were doing that before you were charging it. So now all of a sudden, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, and you're doing all this other stuff. I got kids over here playing for something you said on TV this morning. I really didn't pay much attention to it. But nevertheless, you weren't doing all that then. So why the money fee? Also, I think it should do maybe $10, $15 for the county residents. And for our seniors, if you charge the seniors, it should be $7. $7, 7 days. That's just me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Appreciate you joining us. Next up, we have Ms. Ann Vandermolen joining us from the city of Roosevelt Park. Also speaking on parking fees. Welcome. You have 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
Hi. I'll just say that my family goes back to the 1870s. My great-great-grandma, Anne Oline, lived in Hackley Park when her family first came from Norway. And so my family is all throughout Muskegon County, all throughout the city of Muskegon, on all sides of my family. My dad's side, the Dutch side, my grandpa's side, everybody. And my grandma lived to be 102, and almost 102. She passed away about 10 years ago. And for 97 years, besides living in Chicago for a few years, she was so happy that our beach was free. When we got paid parking, I was happy because people like me from Roosevelt Park and Norton Shores can pretty much help pay. And I was proud to, it's great to help pay for. We have a gem. We have people like me, memories. I go down there all year round, and yeah, the sand should be maybe shoveled a bit more in the winter, but all year round because I've got memories. People taking me to the beach as a child, and going with friends, with my family. So if you guys would raise it maybe by increments, like maybe 22 the first year, 24, 26, 28. So it should be out maybe about up to 28 for the season pass. That's the only thing that I think is too much. $40 is a lot overnight basically, but about 28 would be good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vandermoen. Do you have any other comment forms, Madam Clerk?
I do.
No?
I do not. No.
Anyone else in the audience wishes to give public comment on an agenda item at this time? No? All right, we're going to go to the phones. That call-in number is 231-724-6721. When you call, please turn down any audio in the background, announce your name, and if you're a city resident, which neighborhood you're calling from, and if you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you may be joining us from, or other country if you're not in the U.S. And then please acknowledge which topic or agenda item, which item on the agenda you're calling about. We'll give that a few moments. All right, no callers?
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to consent agenda. Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Are there any items that you wish to have removed for separate consideration and vote? If there are none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Cochin.
I'm not gonna be very popular for saying this, but I, J, and M.
Are there any other items, Commissioners? All right, I'd welcome a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented, minus items I, J, and M, as in Mary.
Support.
We got a motion by Commissioner Kilgo, supported by Vice Mayor St. Clair. No discussion. Then we'll go to roll call.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. First item, I, beach parking fees, summer 2025. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes. So, I wanted to bring this up because we.
Motion, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Moving ahead. So I move to approve the modifications to the 2025 beach parking rates as recommended.
Support.
All right, a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to bring this up because we talked about it last night and kind of reworked some of the previous things that were passed because we heard the public's outcry and we're obviously hearing them again tonight. And I want to make sure that everybody at home who might be watching this, who might have missed yesterday's meeting, understands what this money would be going towards, what it's currently being used for, and why we are looking at these increases. So who's reporting on this?
So I can start reporting out and
Or
then
deputy. But I would like to note that we did, all this was covered last night
Yeah.
under the work session. But we can do it again. So, Mr. Manager.
yes. So as we discussed last night, we are recommending a adjustment to what was approved in November, and I'm trying to get to that page in the packet. I apologize. Essentially, what we're doing is recommending that we do two rates. We do a weekly rate on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of $10 a day with a free day on Wednesday, and then Saturday and Sunday will be $15 per day. This was previously at 20, so we're reducing that. The season pass would still remain at $40. However, the commission authorized a buy one get one special through January 16th of 25, where if you purchase a annual pass, you get a second annual pass for free. You can get up to 2 free passes. You'd have to purchase 2 passes at the full rate. So that is the changes that would occur. This is so just 2 rates for the week. One on the weekend, one during the weekdays. So that should hopefully help with any confusion in that. We did talk about the fact that the kiosks are programmable. So on the free day, there was concern about how that would get communicated. The kiosks will have a message on there noting that it is a free day. Some of the things that we're doing to have investments in Pierre Marquette Park and other parks. One of the questions was, what did we do before this? Quite frankly, one of the things that we did was not invest in our other parks. We did not invest as much as we should have. We had a significant deferred maintenance backlog in our 33 other parks across the city, including playgrounds and basketball courts and all types of amenities throughout the city. We were spending the majority of our parks budget at Pierre Marquette. And because our residents pay taxes to maintain that, the City Commission decided a number of years ago to institute a fee, a user fee, while our residents receive 2 free passes per household. And that this is the first adjustment that we've done in a number of years. This was being proposed for a number of reasons, including to try to spread out demand throughout the week. We'd also heard feedback that folks in neighboring communities wanted free access to the park on some day. That's why we picked Wednesdays. Through our placer data, that was indicated as being the day that most people in Muskegon County use the park system. And it's kind of midway as far as busy goes during the week. It's slightly busier than Tuesday, but that's when most Muskegon County residents use the park, which is why Wednesday was picked as the free day. So kind of a high-level overview of the long discussion from last night.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Manager. I appreciate that. So to speak to what some of the residents were bringing up today and what Commissioner Keener brought up last night as far as the seniors go, we had talked a little bit about the idea of maybe having a senior discount, and where do you think that would be? Like, is that something that you think that we would do, or would you think that that Wednesday suffices for that?
So, per the discussion of the commission, it was decided that the Wednesday free day and having a buy one get one free on the passes help to defray that cost. Additionally, because all of our residents receive 2 free passes, there's multiple ways for folks to avail themselves of different purchase options or the free day. The deputy city manager is also looking into shuttle service options, including a circulator along Lake Michigan from Harbortown Beach Park on Muskegon Lake down to Cruzy Park south of Pierre Marquette on the south end of the city, all along Lake Michigan. We're also exploring the possibility, though we don't know what the cost would be, for a commuter type bus from downtown into to Pierre Marquette, which would be free of charge as well. So that way folks would have different options. So we're looking at different ways for folks to be able to access it. So, but the discussion last night per the commission was that the options that we had did provide opportunities for people to enjoy the beach at low or no cost.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I appreciate that. And when we were talking about the shuttle service, one of the biggest reasons for such a drastic increase is because of the idea of getting that shuttle service up and running. And that shuttle service will help our seniors, it'll help our vets, and it'll help people from other parts of the city who have been cut off from connection to the waterways. And that's part of that reasoning, correct?
part of the reasoning is to be able to provide higher level of services. We also have investments at Pierre Marquette Park that need to be made, and in other parks throughout the city that need to be made. And this additional revenue will help to offset those costs as well. We have an estimate cost for what would be the circulator along Pierre Marquette area. We don't have the cost yet for what the shuttle would be from downtown, so that's cost dependent. But we have narrowed down parameters to allow for a more precise number to be given to us.
Right, and I think that we've heard from a lot of other the commissioners as well as the mayor has put a strong emphasis on the fact that we want to see that shuttle service
Yes.
up and running, especially with such a drastic increase in rates. With these increases, when we talked about the disinvestment of the other areas of the city, Commissioner Keener's ward was specifically brought up last night, and her park had to be removed because it was unsafe. And so when Director Mike Sell brought up capital projects, which are things like playgrounds, they are not cheap by any shape of the imagination. And so getting a playground back there, getting a playground that's better usable at Campbell Field, I think there's lots of room for improvement and growth within our parks. And one of the things that I brought up last night, and I think was a little misunderstood, was with the changes that we've made, both with the increase in the fees as well as with the technology down at the beach with our parking meters, it's going to allow us to not focus as much on enforcement and using as many dollars on enforcement, so more dollars can go towards our park system, which we have disinvested in for, was it 30 years?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So I think that this will be a net positive in the end, but it is not an easy pill to swallow at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Commissioners, anything else to add or ask? Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of comments. One is I invite everyone to join us on Channel 96, join us on Facebook, join us on YouTube, all the places that our commission meetings and work sessions are shown at. We did discuss this in length last night. So you don't have to leave your house if you can't get here. You can watch right on your phone even. A couple of things that I did want to share. It's free for everyone to step foot on the beach at Pierre Marquette. It does cost money to park your car every day except Wednesday now, because we've added a free day, which we did not have before. We heard from the public. You know, we did already vote on this. We heard from the public, so we're bringing it back in front of the commission, and the commission will vote on it again tonight to lower the rates from what we had voted on before. One of the items that we've already passed tonight on our consent agenda, item F, was cost of living adjustment for non-union employees. We approved tonight a 3.3% increase in wages because we're in 2024 and there is inflation and people just don't make enough money. So we're paying our employees. More money because we want to make sure that everyone makes a living wage. So just like it's 2024 and rates are going to increase in 2025 at Pierre Marquette, our money's going towards our Parks and Recs department, and the upkeep of Pierre Marquette are very important to me. I would love to see our young people in this community have things to do and places to go at our Parks Department here in the city of Muskegon. So I look forward to us voting on this so that all of our visitors who come and visit us at Pierre Marquette, I encourage them to take advantage of this next 30 days and take advantage of the buy one, get one. You know, if I have a group of friends and my friends want to go in with me, we can get a season pass for $20 a piece with that buy one, get one free. So take advantage now during this sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Any other questions or comments to add? Vice Mayor St. Clair.
I'll just add briefly that there's been some questions I will say that this has largely been supported by the residents of Muskegon. I have heard the majority of concerns from folks that maybe used to live in Muskegon or live in the surrounding county, and had a lot of years of being accustomed to not having to contribute to the upkeep of Pure Marquette. That's not a sustainable thing for us as a community anymore. We have made a move to stop Pure Marquette from draining the park budget so that the rest of the city benefits from park infrastructure. And if you drive around the city, you'll see that impact. We have been able to replace, can anybody tell me off the top of your heads how many playgrounds that we've been able to replace in the last 4 years? 5, 6? Is that
least.
At least 6? And playgrounds run anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000. So this isn't little money that it's costing us. And I had some people asking, well, what are you doing to improve Pure Marquette? Like, if we're going to pay for it, what are you doing to improve it? Because I don't really care what you're doing on the east side of the city. This is what I care about. And I will say that we have made significant infrastructure improvements. In Margaret Drake Elliott Park, we had to replace that playground. We had to replace the playground at Pure Marquette. And we are currently building a bathhouse, a second bathhouse at Pure Marquette. Those things are very expensive. We also replaced some level of access to the beach at the dog beach that had been closed since before COVID because of a high water incident. We're not done with the improvements there. And I know that not everybody is pleased with what we have been able to do, but it all costs money. And I'm sounding like a broken record, but it all costs money. And without other resources, this is the most equitable way that we can fund the park system.
Thank you, Vice Mayor St. Clair. Commissioner Gorman, give me the opportunity if you want to weigh in. Add anything to ask or add? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, commissioners. We discussed this at length yesterday. And we also had a conversation at the Legislative Policy Committee meeting last week on this, and then we had some discussion and weigh in back on November 26th. So we have discussed this considerably at numerous points in times. A lot of good dialogue has happened. With regard to why we're here and revisiting this, and me having asked us at our Legislative Policy meeting last week to consider further tweaks or adjustments, was based upon the public discourse that was happening and some of the things that were being raised or said that resonated with me. It was not, despite what some have portrayed, including some media outlets, it's not due to us being inundated with complaints. After the November 26th meeting, 2 people reached out to me. Two people reached out to me directly, proactively, both of which were non-residents. We only heard from non-residents tonight as well. And since Fruitport Township. Since we had the Legislative Policy Committee meeting last week, I had one person follow up, also a non-resident. Today, I had heard from a couple residents who spoke about it and said, the parking fees are important. They're important. They support the parking pay program. They support, raising these rates. We need to make further investments, not only in the level of services and programming at Pure Marquette, but capital improvements there and throughout our park system. In terms of, I know Mr. Manager touched on it, but I want to reiterate in terms of what we did before, because in 2008, where we saw the Great Recession and we saw property taxes tank in the city, dramatically tank. We saw income tax drop considerably. We were in a precarious situation for a number of years there, and a lot of cuts had to be made difficult decisions had to be made by our predecessors, and I appreciate those difficult decisions they made to ensure our sustainability and solvency, where some of our other communities around the state ended up going into emergency receivership and bankruptcy. Those difficult decisions were made so that we could remain solvent and sustainable. One of the things that were cut was the Parks and Recreation Department. It was axed. And as in tandem with that, investments in the park system were reduced considerably. And then what was going into park system was being dominated and gobbled up by Pure Marquette and the beach for a number of years. And we understood why. We enjoy it. Our community enjoys it. Guests to our community enjoy it. We wanted to maintain a quality beach park and beach parks. We have now revived our Parks and Recreation Department. We established a paid parking a few years ago in order to defray the costs, cover the costs of maintaining our beach parks, while then being able to invest in our park system across the city. As the mission manager said, there was a lot of deferred investment over many years, and our parks languished, and some of them were unsafe. We had to remove those playgrounds, and we're in the process for replacing them. It requires money. But beyond that, we've also heard, particularly at Pure Marquette in that area, and Cruzy Park and Harbortown Beach, and Margaret Drake Elliott, the desire for more capital improvements, more capital investments, more services, more programming. We are bringing back the Ranger program this next season. Something that we've heard from our community is they would like to see Rangers return to our park system. We're doing that. We wanted to start with 4. We're going to start with 2 this season. We may be able to grow it. That requires money. We've heard the desire for improved water safety program at our beach parks. We are doing undertaking water safety master planning, which will bring forward options and recommendations and solutions to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, which is made up of citizens of our city that then will make the recommendations to the City Commission on how to proceed. And it could include lifeguards. We've heard from a number of people that want to restore lifeguards. So that may be an option, but that requires money. The replacement of boardwalks require money. Doing the service, and I very much would like to see us have a shoreline shuttle from the east end of Muskegon Lake and downtown to Pure Marquette and back. I like the idea of doing the circulator at Pure Marquette, connecting Harbortown Beach and Cruzy Park, because those 2 parks often have available parking. And so we encourage people to park there, and they can take that shuttle to Pure Marquette or go from Harbortown to Cruzy Park or back and forth and anything in between. That improves access while helping to manage the parking situation and the traffic situation. And so we need more revenue to make these investments in the services and programming that have been advocated by our community, by our residents, as well as guests to our community. And so that's why we're looking at making these, we've already made the increases. That's done. What we're looking at today is dialing back the weekend daily rate on Saturday, based upon some of the commentary that we observed online, the public discourse, and changing the Friday to a weekday daily rate, and having weekend daily rate being only Saturday and Sunday, while providing a BOGO. And in my mind, the BOGO, there's 2 things that prompted my consideration of wanting to do a sales discount or sales promotion in December. One of which was for gift givers, because after we made these changes, we heard, or I had observed and saw commentary and discussion about a number of people who bought these as gifts, stocking stuffers and the like, and that this made it a lot more challenging for them to continue to give those gifts that they usually do. And it's something that they really liked doing. And so I wanted to be somewhat accommodating to that, and that's why I was suggesting a sales discount in December. But the other piece is, and we've heard this over a number of years, and believe me, in the past we've heard a lot of angst from non-residents about this program, but they didn't stop us from doing the paid parking program. So it's not complaint-driven that we are here, reconsidering these changes or tweaking it. But the discount also, for me, helps satisfy one of the things that I've heard a number of years is from people who don't live in the city but work in the city and pay taxes to the city. And we collect more in income tax than we do in property taxes. And while initially the income tax was created primarily to support public safety and recycling program, it does go into our general fund that supports everything. And so I do sympathize to some extent with folks that, and we got 20,000 people that work in the city that don't live in the city. So I do sympathize with those folks that work here, pay taxes, but don't happen to live here. And so rather than trying to come up with a system whereby we're verifying if you generated an income or you paid any taxes to the city, but you don't live here, but you work here, rather than creating a potentially administratively complex system, my thought was if we provide a limited sales a promotion that they can avail themselves of that. It's open to anybody. It's open to our residents as well. Our residents who wish to buy them and do the BOGO and gift them, or share them with family or friends or neighbor or their guests. Maybe they want to have them in the handy for any of their guests that are visiting over the season. So BOGO is not targeted at non-residents only, and it's available to anybody and everybody. And I imagine that our residents will take advantage of that as well. So. All right, I think I've said enough. I said a lot yesterday too, but I think I said enough. I'm just recapitulating some of my thoughts here. But Deputy Mike, do you have something to add?
I do. I just wanted to remind people and maybe share some information that people weren't aware of. It is posted at the beach, but our beach parking enforcement is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The park is open, I believe, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. It was important to us when we first established the paid parking that we allow flexibility for people who are morning walkers. We knew there was a large population that did that. And we also know that people love to visit our beaches when it's sunset time. So just wanted to make sure that people understood that is a time that you can go and not have to pay.
That's important. Thank you for emphasizing that.
You're welcome. And I appreciate the information given on the improvements that we've done. I just wanted to add in that we also have provided some ADA improvements at our beaches. So just another thing that we're trying to do to be as accessible as possible.
And we're interested in further investments in accessibility.
Yeah.
But we need funding to do so. And we don't have a parks millage. And so this is one avenue to generate revenue to fund those improvements and services and programming that benefit our residents and guests alike. So for me, it's about balance. It's trying to find that right balance between generating the revenues to fund the things that we want and need and still make our parks and our city welcoming to everybody. So thank you. All right, unless there's anything else, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, J, Senior Municipal Funding, Fiscal Year 2025, Community Neighborhood Services. Commissioner Cochin.
I move to approve the budget proposed for City of Muskegon programs utilizing fiscal year 25 municipal senior millage funds from the County of Muskegon.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. And we have, welcome, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Jake Ekholm. I'm the Director of Development Services for the City of Muskegon.
Okay. Would you please report out on this item, and then we'll entertain any commentary or questions.
Sure. Yep. So we received our annual allocation of municipal funding from the county senior millage. This year we are receiving $122,780. Our proposed budget calls for $20,000 contributing to our senior Power of Produce program at the farmers market, and the remainder, $102,780, to contribute to our home repair program that we run through senior millage. For the edification of the public, that's a countywide program, so it's not restricted only to City of Muskegon residents.
Thank you, Director Ekholm. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, thank you. You brought up the part what I was going to ask about, so thank you. I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that this is not just for the City of Muskegon, but that program goes out to the county residents as well. This senior millage money is so important to so many of our seniors. Can you give a rough estimate about how many seniors we impact with this money?
Oh, yeah. Typically dozens per year of households. And then the one beneficial component to this money. When in the city of Muskegon, folks can avail themselves of our priority repair program through CDBG, but there are certain limits placed on those funds based on HUD guidelines. So we may come in and find that there's a repair that is needed that may not qualify for priority repair through CDBG, and these funds can often supplement that program by fixing another issue in a home where, you know, there may be a situation where we're fixing a roof, but we notice there's windows that are problematic or broken, and CDBG funds specifically don't cover windows, but this can. So it's dozens of households per year, and then primarily in the city, but we do a good job of marketing and providing assistance all throughout the county.
Thank you. And then if people want to take advantage of that, how do they start that process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So both on our website and in our office, there's a simple one-page intake application that's a repair home repair application, and from there, a community development specialist in our community and neighborhood services department will contact that applicant and determine which programs they are best qualified for.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Commissioner Kilgo, anything? Vice Mayor St. Clair, Commissioner Gorman, anything to ask or add? All right. Thank you, Director Eckholm.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, item J. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Next item, item M. Amity Bridge Removal, MDOT Project Agreement, Public Works Division. Commissioner Cochin.
I move to authorize staff to enter into an agreement with the Michigan Department of Transportation for removal of the Amity Bridge, including $433,208 in federal funding, with $138,967 of local match, for a total of $599,250.
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Vice Mayor St. Clair. Welcome, sir. Will you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Todd Myers. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works.
Welcome. Would you care to report out on this item for us, please?
Sure. Yeah, the brief summary, kind of in a broad sense, basically sums it up. We've received a grant. We're looking to enter into an agreement with MDOT to remove the Amity Street Bridge. I guess I can add a little bit that the bridge is to be removed, but the reason the bridge was there was there used to be railroad tracks then, so the opening had to be large enough for a train to get through. Those tracks are no longer there, and so while the bridge will be removed, a road will be placed back. So it's not that.
Thank you. Commissioner Cochin?
Just wanted the explanation.
Oh, all right. Vice Mayor St. Clair, anything to ask or add? Or other commissioners, anything to ask or add? Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes. What block of Amity is this bridge on?
It's just east of.
East of Pine.
Help me, Jonathan. I want
East of Pine.
Pine. Okay.
Okay.
If you were to take Ambrosia, well, Ambrosia was largely vacated, but the vacated portion, well, along Ambrosia, there's a rail line that went through there. If you know where I'm talking about, Commissioner Kilgo. So if that rail line continued, it's no longer there, it's been removed, but it had that continued, it would have gone under the bridge right there.
Gotcha.
It ran parallel to Ambrosia.
Okay. And then I see the area where we're talking about. Is there any plans to, if that area is developed, to connect J Street to Amity at all? Do you know if we have any plans of running that street up?
I'm not aware of any like long-term plans, but there's nothing looking or planned to be cut off at this point.
Okay. So when they remove the bridge, it will be replaced with road? Then?
Yeah, there'll be a culvert at some location, but basically they'll fill it in, and there's room to put the embankment.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Anything else, commissioners? All right. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, that completes our consent agenda. Moving on to public hearings, we have a Brownfield Plan Amendment for Lakeshore Hotel Partners, LLC, 181 and 201 Viridian Drive. Welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Contessa Alexander, Development Analyst with the City of Muskegon. Lakeshore Hotel Partners, excuse me, LLC has requested your consideration for their Brownfield Plan Amendment for the Harbor 31 Hotel project. This will be located at 181 and 201 Viridian Drive. The project involves constructing a 5-story hotel with 126 rooms, 146 parking spaces, meeting rooms, an indoor pool, a gym, and a restaurant and bar. They're expected to have 30 to 35 full-time jobs. And also wanted to note that this is a part of the overall Harbor 31 redevelopment project. So that consists of the senior living, single-family homes, the townhomes, apartments, and a marina. So due to the site's previous industrial use and the known contaminants, this is considered a brownfield eligible property under Act 381. So this brownfield plan was established to reimburse the developer for all of their eligible activities. The developer pays for the cost up front, and through tax increment revenues, we're able to reimburse that developer for only the local sources. So that means the taxable value before the project has started. We take that incremental difference of the taxable value after the project has been completed. So we take that difference and pay the developer back for all their eligible costs. So for this specific project, the total cost of eligible activities are anticipated for reimbursement is estimated at $2,392,792. Additionally, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority administrative costs are expected to be up to $364,771, with an estimated capture for local Brownfield revolving fund. So and that's for up to $890,145. So once the developer has been reimbursed for all their eligible activities, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority is able to capture an additional 5 years to put into their local Brownfield revolving fund. The developer is also seeking a PA 255, or the Commercial Redevelopment Act tax abatement. So I've spoken with the developer, and the developer is also here in the audience, present, Mike Hausman, to answer any questions about the project. So I've worked with the developer. He's working on his application, so we might see a 255 in the January meeting. And also the TIF table also reflects that PA 255. And you do have an updated TIF table with you. So the previous TIF table in the plan that you already have, there just were 2 changes. So on the right side of the plan, where it says the school operating taxes, it just needed a flip-flop. So that's the only change. So it includes 6% and then the 18%. So this plan is expected to be in place for 25 years or until all the eligible activities has been reimbursed to the developer. And then also, just to reiterate, we'll also have that 5 additional years after the project has been completed for the local revolving fund. I did want to note that the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority reviewed this project this morning, and they did approve it with the caveat that the project is ADA compliant. And then they also suggested that it come before the City Commission for final approval. And I also wanted to mention that your motion had an error. It should actually read, I motion to close the public hearing and approve the resolution for the Brownfield Plan Amendment for the Harbor 31 Hotel and authorize the city mayor and city clerk to sign the attached resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the report, Analyst Alexander. So, Commissioners, this is the public hearing. I'm going to open up to any comments, and then once that's concluded, we will entertain any questions or commentary from the Commission. So, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give public comment on this particular item, the Brownfield Plan Amendment for Lakeshore Hotel Partners LLC at 181 and 201 Viridian Drive? Okay, I don't see any takers in the audience, so we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. This is for calling in specifically on a public hearing for Brownfield Plan Amendment to Lakeshore Hotel Partners. We'll give that a few moments. All right, doesn't sound like we have any takers for calling in as part of the public hearing. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing and approve the resolution.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Or
And to
approve
the rest of it. Yep.
Okay, I'll just read it. I'd welcome a motion to close the public hearing and to approve the resolution for the Brownfield Plan Amendment for Harbor 31 Hotel and authorize the city mayor and city clerk to sign the resolution as presented.
Support. So moved.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Kilgo, supported by Vice Mayor St. Clair. Questions? Thoughts? Commentary? Commissioners, before we vote? Whether you have questions for Ms. Alexander or if you have questions for the developer. Yes,
do,
Commissioner
actually.
Kochan?
I have a question for the developer, actually, if you don't mind.
Welcome, sir. Kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah, good evening. Mike Houseman. I am with Lakeshore Hotel Partners. There's a lot of names out at that development, but been involved for a long time, and here representing the whole partnership.
Welcome and good evening.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kochan.
Yes. I was wondering why you chose that specific site for your hotel.
Well, we did multiple market studies, and this is a mixed-use PUD that we started, gosh, many years ago. I mean, the history goes back to 2004, way before I got involved. We always felt it was a great place for a hotel to take advantage of the view of the water as well as downtown Muskegon. And so it's always been part of the mixed-use PUD, and it's just taken us a long time to get there. And with patience and tremendous help from the city, we've been able to finally figure it out, which we're happy to get going here in about 2 months, maybe. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Kochan. Any follow-up?
Not at this time, no.
No. All right, Commissioners. Anything else you want to ask or add?
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hausman, and thank you to you and your development team for being diligent and persistent on seeing the redevelopment. Yes. Exciting to see what's happening. And Trilogy Senior Living's open now and pretty much full, I believe. So that's exciting.
I could just add to that.
Yeah.
Trilogy is one of the largest in the country. We do a lot of construction for them. This unit was no other unit that filled faster than this particular unit. So it's been a big home run for them. They're very happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, the facility's great. The people are wonderful, and I'm happy that we do have that the new residency and service options and care options that are available with Trilogy Senior Living. I'm looking forward to the continued build out and redevelopment of the whole Viridian Shores over there. And so I'm excited to see you said groundbreaking in a couple months on the hotel. Wonderful. We'd love to have another hotel downtown. Commissioner Kilgo.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. With the whole Harbor 31 project, we've known that we're going to get more residents that live down there. We knew that a hotel was part of the project. We now have seniors living down there. I just want us, the city, to keep in mind as we get more people and as we get the public, because the public is going to be the ones mostly using the hotel once it's built, that we think about those folks crossing Seaway Drive to get down 3rd Street or whichever one they want to use, but just to make sure people get across 3rd Street safely. I just want us to keep those things in mind.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Anything else to ask or add at this time, commissioners? All right. Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, that completes our business, our regularly scheduled business. Now we go on to any other business. One thing I want to recognize and acknowledge is an incident that happened earlier this week. It was a couple days ago. It was a local business, a black-owned business in our city, over in the Campbell Field neighborhood, near the intersection of Hackley and Barclay, in which there was a vandalism of a vehicle at the property. The property owner, the business owner's vehicle, was vandalized and spray painted. And the spray painting gives the indication that it was racially motivated. And I want to acknowledge this happened. I want to repudiate it. I think we as an entire city, I have no doubt that this entire city commission and our entirety of our organization finds that act abhorrent and unacceptable. I did speak with the business owner and had a conversation with him. I've had several conversations with him in the past. It was the first time I've met him. Good guy. I'm grateful for his investment in our city. Good food. The wings are great. He's got a couple new flavors in the wings. I got them last night. I would suggest you stopping by there. But I wanted to acknowledge that and also share some of the sentiments that he conveyed to me. And that he has found, since he opened up that business there, Muskegon and the surrounding neighborhood to be very welcoming. He has felt embraced. He has felt appreciated. He does not see this vandalism that happened as a reflection on our community or on Muskegon. It was an isolated incident. He's undeterred and undaunted and is not going anywhere. And so I just want to acknowledge this happened, repudiate it, and encourage folks to go out and support him as well. That's why I was mentioning the address at the intersection of Hackley Avenue and Barclay. I think it's 1161 Hackley, but I'm not certain. I was going to look it up. But nonetheless, Wheezy's, it's Wheezy's Kitchen. And so I encourage you to stop by. His birthday actually is tomorrow. I don't think he's going to be there tomorrow. I think he's got plans. But I encourage you to stop by this week and any week, any day, and pick up a meal. And if you go this week, convey best wishes and happy birthday to him, and that you appreciate and welcome him in our community. Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes. One item of other business that I'd just like us to address and be mindful of as we move into next year. Maybe we can do a little bit better job. I've been contacted by a couple of constituents about our leaf ordinance. So our leaf ordinance says that it's illegal, or it's against our ordinance in the city of Muskegon to rake your leaves into the street, into the alley, or into the gutters, and you can be subject up to a $5,000 fine. Maybe we have to do a better job on enforcement, or maybe we look at other solutions for our citizens to help get rid of the leaves, because another snowstorm is coming through, unfortunately, and the snow covers it up, and then the plows will plow. I went and visited a constituent today, and the plows plow the leaves, and now the leaves are sitting in this huge pile in front of one of our senior citizens' house, who they're unable to go out there and do anything about it. And the plows are going to plow. They're, meant to move the snow and stuff like that. So whether it's an enforcement issue and, we hand out some more fines for people that do rake their leaves into the street, or we look at other options for leaf removal for the city. It is something going into next fall that I would love us to take a look at.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Anything else, commissioners, you'd like to address under any other business? No? Okay. And we're going to go to public comment on non-agenda or general public comment. Anything you wish to share with us? First up, I have Patricia Jones joining us from the Jackson Hill neighborhood. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening.
You have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
To Mayor and all council members, good evening. Again, my name is Ms. Jones. Regards to, and I heard, the things you're doing, and like with senior living downtown here and everything, but the first senior living that Muskegon invested in was Jackson Hill Senior Living. It's a place where, you got more of a home feel, and you had some grass and yard and everything. But the upkeep is not being done. First of all, I'd like to thank your rehab that come out and regulate when you call. In fact, her name was Dee. She did a remarkable job. They are not keeping up these apartment dwellings. KMG Enterprise, who also built Berkshire, who built K1021, and I believe you're getting ready to undergo something else with them. Who comes back to see if they keep up their end of the bargain? Because it's not being kept up at Jackson Hill. They're not doing any leaf cleanup, pickup. No grass was cut this summer. Who checks back to see if these individuals who enter into these contracts with the city, who checks back to see if they're living up to their end of the bargain? Because they're not being lived up to, and residents are afraid to come forward because, like I said, I call the rental inspector and I was told I'd be dealt with. And I kind of took it as a threat, but some people are really being threatened. If they call somebody, something will happen, and you'll be thrown out into the street and everything. I like threats because you know what? I know there's a way to fight back, and this is how I fight back. I come to the city commission, to my elders down here on this board, who okayed for KMG Prestige out of Kalamazoo, who has another big name that I can't even pronounce. But they're not living up to their end of the bargain, and I know I'm going to pay dearly. But I'm going to push back. Because in the way I push back, like I said, you're going to see me down here. As they push me, I'm going to push back because who goes back and makes sure that Jackson Hill Properties, that was the first senior residence. Now you're building a beautiful one, downtown here. But I'm paying $934 a month. That's a hell of a senior living, isn't it? How can I retire and pay $934 a month to live as a senior citizen? So that's how they fight back, with pencils and papers, and who's there
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
to go back and see about that.
Appreciate you joining us this evening.
You don't not gonna answer me.
This isn't a time for dialogue Q&A, but I'm happy to talk to you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Corey Roberts, joining us from Fremont. Are you still there? Is that still right? Is that Fremont still? Okay. Welcome. I know you've got interest in business in the city, but I do acknowledge where people reside when they're giving public comment. So welcome, Mr. Roberts, joining us from.
Good evening. My name is Corey Roberts. I live in the southwest corner of Nuevo County, about a mile from the Muskegon County border. I'm here tonight to speak about the social equity grant applications. I listened into the work session last night, and a couple of things caught my attention. I am the grateful recipient of 2 previous grants here for the business startup application, that being the only one I qualify for because I am not a resident of the city of Muskegon. Now, last night I heard Mr. Franzek spoke about foregoing some of the qualifiers for the education grant to create more of a demand for that program. And I also heard that there wasn't much of a demand for the other grants. I'm here to say I have a great deal of a demand for some of those grants. Today I submitted an application via email to Mr. Franzek, and I included Mayor Johnson into this email because I wanted everybody's attention to be on the situation. There's nowhere in the application that states that there's a cap of 2 grants allowed to any individual or entity. Being that the train of thought has been taken to forego some of the requirements for some of the grants to fall in line with more of the state's requirements for their social equity applicants that are a little more inclusive, I'd ask that the same be allowed to this. The grants from the state are allocated on an annual basis with no cap on how many times the recipient can receive that. Those grant funds come from the same revenue shares that the city and the county receive. So for every retail location or micro business, the county and the municipality receive an equal grant, being just sub $60,000 per location. With that $5,000 grant that we currently qualify for, if it was on an annual basis, if that helped our retail establishment be open annually, the city and the county combined would see over a 20x investment return on that, just from the kickback in the revenue share. Now, some of the expenses we're incurring are all construction right now. Some of the soft expenses, I included the recent receipt to the city of Muskegon, just sub $15,000 for our building permits. Last year, our roof caved in, so we had to revisit with the architect and go over new plans. We found that our footings weren't up to code and some of the slab needed repaired. So we had incurring expenses for this all along. So I just ask that the attention be brought to the situation that there is a demand for these grants. I would request that the board request Mr. Franzek to revisit that application and approve it based upon the fact that nowhere can be found that says that there's only 2 allowed per recipient. Furthermore, we have 5 entities. If we're going with the state's train of thought in applying these grants to the entities, my business partner is a resident of the city of Muskegon, and therefore we would qualify for the other additional grants. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Next up, we have Ms. Ann Vandermolen joining us from the City of Roosevelt Park. You have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
Hi. Like I spoke about last night, I do think that I would like Dana Nessel to come down and do an investigation, maybe talk to our county prosecutor, DJ Hilson, because, what if it's not only me? And it wasn't just men that were creepy to me 10 years ago or 9 years ago. There's a man that comes to the meetings quite a bit, and everybody knows him. And about a year ago, I was sitting over there, and he came up to me right in my face, really creepy, and said hi to me like he was really familiar with me. And so I really do, again, if Marcia Hovey Wright is listening to this, I would like people to contact Dana Nessel, because I think that people around the community should be questioned. But I guess for the past 10 years, I've been slandered on Facebook. From what I am told, many people in Norton Shores watch me speak. They like to make fun of me because they're followers of Tracy's. I just lost my train of thought. He also maybe recorded our last phone call, and he got me to answer a couple questions like, it was my idea to film, when in fact I believe he manipulated me, and I did tell him to stop. And I do wonder if people are watching that still today. Also, my high school boyfriend used to make me watch those terrible zombie movies, Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. And I just want to say that anybody who's believed all the stuff that Tracy Lorenz has put out there about me, they would be marked safe from a brain-seeking zombie invasion. And this here is a sad zombie because it's roaming around Tracy cult members and it can't find any brains. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Vandermolen. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to give public comment at this time? All right. Doesn't look like any takers in person. We're going to go to the phones now. That number for calling is 231-724-6721. If you're calling in, please turn down any audio in the background. And then when you're acknowledged, announce your name and which neighborhood you're calling from. If you're a city resident, and if not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you're calling from. All right, no calls?
No, Mayor.
All right. Commissioners, before we adjourn, I do wish to wish each of you and everyone throughout our municipal organization, everyone in the audience, everyone throughout our city and throughout Greater Muskegon, the happiest holidays and all the best in the coming new year. So, that said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Vice Mayor St. Clair to adjourn, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you. Take care and be well.